Shemai guys, welcome back to the Life to the Full podcast, the podcast that helps you make the most of your time here on Earth. It is one of my favourite times of year. It is goal setting time. It's early in the morning and I can't not get back on the mic. This one time before the new year, it's that time between Christmas and New Year, where all the excitement of Christmas is over, but I'm not working and I'm able to spend some relaxing time with my family and friends, and also reflect back on the past year and look forward to and plan my goals for the new year. Today I want to convince you to do the same. I recently got an email from Ali Abdaal. It wasn't a personal email, I'm just on his mailing list. But hey. This was a quote from one of his emails recently. And the more I read about it, the more I realise A, man, setting goals is ridiculously important, and B, man, most people, including me, don't give anywhere near enough attention to goal setting as we should. If you don't know who Ali Abdaal is, he's a former doctor and Cambridge graduate who is now a YouTuber and general productivity guru. By many earthly metrics, this guy is hugely successful, and he still sees the value in setting goals. If Ali sees the benefit of it, then surely we will reap the benefits of goal setting. If we set goals that are appropriate for us, then it's hard to imagine how our lives won't be somehow enhanced in 2024. There are two incredibly important reasons to set goals. Number one, and this is the most important, to become the type of person who hits their goals. Number two, to make your life better. And the irony of setting "make my life better" as a goal is not lost on me. I usually set annual goals, but you could easily set quarterly goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, etc. Actually reminds me, I should go back and look at my 5-year goals from 2 years ago to see how things are going. I started goal setting around 5 years ago, and looking back at how much has changed in the last 5 years compared to the previous 10 is just a joyous experience. So much more exciting and fun stuff has happened simply because I've been intentional about what I want to do and achieve. I trust the same will be true for you too if you are a goal setter or want to become one. I did do fun stuff before, but my attitude towards improving my career and relationship and etc. was so laissez-faire. I didn't make anywhere near the meaningful progress that I might have made if I was more intentional in my goal setting. One of my goals this year will be to take my daughter skiing for the first time. This is a result of a goal I had 5 years ago to buy a rental property. When I bought my first rental property, I had the goal of borrowing against that property to fund something fun. I love a good frugal tip, and I love taking a minimalist approach to life when I can. I don't like to buy stuff, so when I think about purchases and expenses, my thoughts aren't, how can I earn enough to pay for it, but rather, how can I buy assets that will pay for this experience? This is how to live like the rich. Tongue out dollar emoji. Whatever your thoughts on what it is to live like a rich person, the point is that without that goal, my other goals would be different. Your goals continue to compound over time. If you don't know where you're going, then you can't start figuring out how to get there. You'll just end up wandering aimlessly, and you look at your life in 10 years' time and think, nothing's changed. If your life is already 100% awesome, then no worries. No need to worry about goal setting. I am inclined to believe, though, that maybe not everything in your life is absolutely perfect. And so by setting goals that are meaningful to you and your loved ones, you can give yourself the best chance of hitting financial freedom, deepening relationships, running a marathon, buying a Lambo, living abroad, taking up beekeeping, developing a giving strategy or a solitude practice, whatever it is that's meaningful to you. So how do you go about goal setting so that you know that your life will be more awesome 12 months from now? I've read different books and articles on goal setting. I've listened to various people give their opinion on how to do it to maximize your results. And I'll just condense my thoughts on the matter to give you a framework to developing your own goal setting process. I'll set it out in layers going from simplest and easiest to more involved and intense. I've tried all of these and I've adapted things to my own process, which is in constant tweaking mode. But first, let me give you my number one tip for goal setting, and it's one that I haven't heard anyone else talk about. Ready? You have to actually want the thing. You actually have to want to do whatever it is you set as your goal. You might be thinking, well, duh, of course you'll want the thing that you have as a goal, otherwise you wouldn't bother having it as a goal in the first place. Well, yes and no. Have you ever thought of a goal because you've seen someone else with that goal? Or set a goal that you think you should set? Or set a goal that someone else has given you? It'll be much harder to reach these goals if they don't come from deep within. And even if you do reach these goals, you won't have the same sense of satisfaction. Let me tell you a story about, I could tell you loads of stories actually, but let me pick some stories of goals that I've failed to reach over the last few years. And one that I have. Actually, two that I have. I've mentioned on the podcast before the goal of doing an Ironman, which I had in 2019. Now, this goal is something that I'd read about, thought about since 2006. It was a long time coming. It was one of those things that I couldn't shake. One of those things that I was just waiting for the right time to have it as a goal. It was always one of those things, yes, one day I'm going to do an Ironman. I'd read about this thing and I thought, man, I'd love to do that one day. But I just kept training, just doing shorter triathlons. And then when the time was right, I had it as a goal and I did it. And that is because it was something that I had wanted for a long time, something that I knew I couldn't rest. I couldn't not do it eventually. I was actually looking back over my goals for the last few years, and in one of the years I've had buy a second rental property. And I'm glad to say that I have actually hit that goal. I've also put it on the list in other years, buy another rental property. And I've not hit that goal. And it's because it hasn't been something that's really on my heart to do. It hasn't been something that's deep within me that's driving me forward. Another goal which I had a few years ago, which I failed to meet, was to be able to type at 100 words per minute. I think I'd watched one of Ali Abdaal's videos on YouTube about how fast he could type, and I thought, wow, that's cool. I'd love to be able to do that. And so I put it down as my goal. But it wasn't something that I really cared about. It wasn't something deep within me that I really, really wanted. And so I failed at that goal. I still can't type at 100 words per minute. And it's because it didn't come from within me. Once you've spent some time thinking about what you really want, you're ready to get going with your goal setting. I've split this section up into 3 levels. Each one has its pros and cons. They essentially trade simplicity for intensity as you go up the levels. Here we go, level 1. Go back through your calendar and photos from the last year. What were the things that brought you most joy? Do more of that in 2024. What were the things that drained you and didn't bring you satisfaction? Do less of that in 2024. It's that simple. If you do that simple strategy, all things being equal, you'll have a better 2024 than you did 2023. Sounds simple, and yet very, very effective. Level 2. Take some time to answer the question, what lessons have I learned this year? That will begin to give you some insight into how you can start to shape this year differently to last year. Write 3 to 4 goals that you really want to hit. And when you make your goals, take a look at different areas of your life and write down what would be a meaningful change that you are committed to making this year. You may wish to go on monthly dates with each of your children, or spend time every Friday in prayer and fasting, or complete an Ironman triathlon, or read 24 books, or whatever it is. Make it specific and time-bound, And the most important thing here is to have a practice of reviewing your goals daily. And even more importantly, have a plan of action which will make sure you hit your goals. Take, for example, my mate Dave. He wants to get fitter next year. He's going to plan to set a baseline assessment of his rowing, then he's going to hit the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and he's going to repeat the baseline test at monthly intervals. Contrast that with someone who has the vague idea of, I should get fitter. Who is most likely to hit their target? Make a plan. Always know what your most important next step towards your goal is. Always have a time in the diary to make it happen. Level 3. You have 1 year, 3 year, and 10-year goals for each of these 9 areas in your life, with accompanying daily actions and next action steps written down. You ready for this? Financial goals, career goal, family goal, significant other goal, social goal, spiritual goal, physical goal, personal development goal, and positive impact on the world goal. This means you'll end up with 9 things to do every day and 9 things that will be awesome 12 months from now. Take, for example, a career goal. You might have a goal to get a new job. Your daily action might be check LinkedIn for potential opportunities. Your first next step might be to update your CV. Then when you've done that, apply for a job. Then prep for interview. Maybe your daily action is to reach out to someone who might know of a role that might suit you. As long as it's something you can do daily that will move you closer towards hitting your goals, you're good. So in your journal, you'll have, at the beginning of the year, your 9 goals written out. You'll have your daily actions written out for each one of your goals, and you'll have a section in your journal for where you write the most important next step. This really is the ultimate goal setting system. If you follow this plan of having 1 year, 3 year, 10-year goals with accompanying daily actions, your life in a few years will be unrecognizable in a good way. But you know what they say? The best system is the one you'll actually use. That's why I'm more recently a type 2 kind of guy. I found with 9 categories I was writing down goals that weren't really vibing with me just to fill a spot in the roster. I wasn't focusing on anything enough to get things done. This year I'll have 4 goals, 1 family, 1 spiritual, 1 physical, and 1 other in my journal. And I'll have a section in the back where I have my 4 goals written down, and underneath I'll have the most important next step written down. Then when I've done that, I'll write the next most important step. And so on until I reach my goals. Here's a couple of extra bonus tips for you to think about that will help you with living life to the full. Easier than setting goals is to make one-time decisions and actions which negate the needs for goals or make the goal inevitable. Example, if you want to save £6,000 this year, then set up a standing order for £500 per month, and you don't have to give it another thought for the rest of the year. You'll hit that goal without even trying. Or if you want a date night with your wife every week, you could book a babysitter every week in advance. Or you could agree with another family to alternate every week. You look after their kids one week and they look after your kids the other week. And it's a decision that's made one time and you don't have to think about it. Another tip is to write your goals down every day. This serves the purpose of keeping your goals forefront of your mind. Is a constant reminder to keep you on track. Finally, take some time to celebrate reaching your goals. That's what I'm doing by taking my daughter skiing. I'm celebrating the financial goals win to make memories with my precious girl. I'm making tangible something that otherwise remains just a number on the screen. If you never take time to look at how far you've come and appreciate it and enjoy it, what are you even doing it for? The path is the way, yes. But if we keep moving the goalposts with no consideration for the present moment, then we miss the entire point. I've quite enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed thinking about it, planning it, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. I might end up expanding on this ultimate guide to goal setting in the new year, but then again, the winds may take me elsewhere. I'd love to hear what goals you're setting for 2024. You can get in touch on Instagram. I'm at David Morse and Life to the Full podcast. Don't forget, if you want to check out my audio course, Quit Teaching, Start Living, the link is in the show notes. Happy New Year. Thanks for listening in 2023 and see you in 2024. Peace out.